Hi guys, so Vincent is coming with his FR. He already have his BT, so his FR is new. So let us talk about his kit. Is his FR good? Well, technically yes, his FR is generic. Okay, if you have fire or thunder and Chan, or even if you have other element and Chan, as long as you have Imperial for that specific element. So like if you bring Rydia's call, then everyone will be doing water Imperial, or you bring Lulu's call and everyone will be truly enchant with fire or something like that, then Vincent FR will be generic, because all you need to do is elemental weakness and having 8 debuff on the enemy. And having 8 debuff is not something very difficult to do unless you are fighting against an enemy that constantly buff themselves. But we have a LDCA that prevents an enemy from buffing themselves, and that's Aerith. So if you have Aerith debuff on the enemy, as long as the enemy doesn't cleanse, then you are quite, pretty much guaranteed that you can get 75% HP damage bonus. And his FR has 50% HP damage limit up, which makes the difference between him and Bart's. But anyway, I'm giving him a score of 3.5. For reasons that there is already quite a lot of other generic FR, and if the enemy is immune to elemental, immune to debuff, or immune to elemental or something that you cannot deal elemental weakness, and if they cleanse themselves, then you will not be able to fulfill Vincent's FR condition. Okay, so there is a condition, so it's not as generic as it seems. So I'm giving a score of 3.5. But anyway, just to declare in this video, probably coming into for the next character evaluation video, I will not be giving a score for FR anymore, because I felt like most of the unit that we will be getting, they are getting pretty much generic FR, and so most of them also will be having 50% HP damage limit up and stuff like that. So moreover, like, you probably will never bring a unit in your party right now if they do not have a FR, because FR echo does make quite a big difference at this point. So it's like, if you want to use that unit, you definitely will need his FR. So it depends more on whether do you have to PT or pull their BT weapon, right? So can they function well without their BT weapon? So I think I'll be evaluating the BT more and give a score on it and the overall kit of that specific character. So I won't be doing a specific score on FR anymore. It just doesn't make much sense. For his BT, do you need his BT? Well, my answer here is depends. Again, his unique ability here is preventing the enemy from buffing themselves, and we do know some fight actually revolve around that. And Aerith LD has been cheesing certain fights. So if you do not have Aerith LD call, then Vincent BT can actually be pretty interesting. Okay, and if you prevent the enemy from buffing themselves, then Vincent's generic debuff will also not fall off. So you probably will have the enemy always having 8 debuff, which further helps to fulfill his FR condition. Okay, and in terms of HP damage limit up, he has 30% and additional 50% for himself. But again, I kind of like, there's a trend here where a lot of these older units who already have their BT, they do not really get high HP dumps on their kit. So just by giving that 50% HP damage limit up, it's not good enough. Like, you have Reno that does 22, you have Arania that easily does 15 or 16, and Vincent is doing somewhere in the range of 12 to 14. Okay, so in that case, he will not be doing as much damage as you think he should, because he have a 50% HP damage limit up on his BT for self. So yeah, I do not really consider him as a main DPS unit, so more like a utility unit or a third slot unit at this point. So I'm giving his BT a score of 3.5. And here we are For Vincent's kit, he is a debuffer, and with BT he prevent buff. Okay, and that's all. That's all I think that he is covering. Not on the DPS row, definitely. Yeah. So how to use Vincent's kit? Well, his damage is okay. He's not a DPS unit like a main DPS unit, but it's okay. So, like if you want to do some nuke with him and then you have his FR with his follow-up, it's actually quite decent. And for single target, I think he's also actually pretty good. But the whole reason you want him in your team is because of his debuff as well as his BT effect. So his attack down debuff is actually very potent, up to 80%. Most of the enemy will be doing like 2-digit brave damage, or if with additional attack down from some frame debuff, they probably will be doing 1. And Nightmare debuff is also very good because it enable damage with defense down up to 60%. That is a lot. And it also have brave damage taken up on the enemy side, so you will be hitting harder, and it also have HP damage taken up. So overall, both of that debuff does make him help the party. So if you look into the slide below, I mentioned that if an aura bot help a team by giving them attack up and brave up, Vincent does it by defense down or brave damage taken up. HP damage taken up as well with his BT is up to 40%, making him a very good third slot unit. And especially him having a FR that is generic with 50% HP damage limit up does make him a decent character. The only thing that he's lacking, if you consider his support capability, is Brave Gain, right? He doesn't have that, but if you already have some characters that have self-Brave Gain between HP attack, is usually more than enough. So for his crystal passive, I would suggest U2 so that he can apply all his debuff. I do believe that his generic debuff doesn't come at quest start. Nightmare does, but not his generic debuff. So you can start with S1 and S2 and have 5 debuff on the enemy. Okay, so overall score, I'm giving him a 7/5. And yeah, personally, I am not chasing for Vincent. BT, I do not have his BT, and I do not intend to chase for his BT, just his FR is good for me. Good luck to you guys, and thank you for watching.